Gershon. This is Rocket 1025 KKCI FM, Goodland, Colby, and NWKS radio station.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The White House has been reluctant to criticize Russia for its invasion of Ukraine, and President Trump says that he trusts Moscow. But House Speaker Mike Johnson said over the weekend, Russian President Vladimir Putin is dangerous and not to be trusted. European leaders gathered for an emergency weekend summit to show support for Ukraine. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said Europe must do more of the heavy lifting to defend itself. The summit came 2 days after U.S. backing of Ukraine appeared in jeopardy when President Trump lashed out at Ukraine's leader. President Trump's promised tariffs on Canada and Mexico will start tomorrow. The U.S. will also double the 10% universal tariff charged on imports from China. Israel has cut off the entry of all food and other goods into Gaza. The UN calls it a violation. This is SRN News.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Here is the latest news and information that impacts you. I'm Derek White. Saturday, the Waukene Police Department, with help from Trego County Sheriff's Office, arrested a juvenile wanted for double homicide in Wisconsin. After the suspect failed to perform a legal stop, he was apprehended by both teams without any incident. On Highway 36, Lane Hoffman, age 28, from St. Francis, has died after a head-on crash near County Road 16 in Cheyenne County on Saturday morning. Hoffman was driving a Ford F-150 when his truck crossed the center line for unknown reasons and struck a semi head-on. A woman died over the weekend on I-70 near mile marker 75. She was attempting to pass a pickup and trailer when the pickup attempted an illegal U-turn. 69-year-old Jane Nutting from Waukene struck the pickup and suffered a fatal injury on Saturday morning. Leonardo Gonzalez from Colorado was the driver of the pickup and only sustained minor injuries. Kansas U.S. Senator Roger Marshall held a town hall meeting on Saturday at the Logan County Hospital. During the half-hour event, Marshall answered several questions from the crowd, but eventually part of the group became unfriendly until Marshall left for another engagement. Kansas held high school state wrestling championships this weekend, and the Hoxie Indians brought home another state title in boys 3-2-1A, followed by Norton in second place and Phillipsburg in third. Hoxie had 4 state champions in Edson Moreno at 150 pounds, Duncan Bell at 165 pounds, Easton Nicholson at 175 pounds, and Sam Watkins at 190 pounds. The girls' 3-2-1A Kansas State Championships was also this weekend, and Norton took first place, followed by Oakley in second and Russell in third. Norton had 3 state champions in Kaysen Miller at 115 pounds, Haley Fanninstill at 140 pounds, and Cadence Greason at 190 pounds. The Kansas Department of Transportation is having an open house tonight at 5 p.m. at the Hoxie Community Center. The event is to inform the public on the closure of Kansas Highway 23 in Sheridan County. The closure will begin March 31st and reopen sometime in the fall. For more information on this and other stories, visit nwksradio.net.
Rocket 1025.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. A high wind watch begins at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. A winter storm watch begins at midnight tonight. Daytime highs approaching 66 today under mainly sunny skies. Winds out of the south 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 33 tonight. Daytime highs approaching 39 tomorrow. A mixture of precipitation likely. Highs level off around 43 Wednesday under clear skies. 57 Thursday. A peek at the extended shows 41 Friday, 51 Saturday, and 63 on Sunday. About an inch of snow tomorrow. Get up-to-the-minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley. on this NWKS radio station. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
NWKS Radio presents the 34th Annual Home and Better Living Show on March 21st through the 23rd at the Colby Event Center. Get ready for a weekend full of vendors that are looking to make your home and living better. A gym full of vendors along with live demonstrations and more in the main gym of the Colby Event Center. The 64th Annual Colby Gun and Coin Show will be going on at the same time in the auxiliary gym of the Colby Event Center. Admission into the Home and Better Living Show is free, hosted by NWKS Radio.
Looking for great food and unbeatable convenience? Swing by the Cowboy Corner Express. Every Thursday, enjoy their famous barbecue beef sandwiches, hot and fresh. Need to feed a crowd? Their sandwich and wrap trays are perfect for any occasion. Start your day with some delicious daylight donuts. And don't forget, students and school employees get 10% off every day, excluding gas, alcohol, and cigarettes. The Cowboy Corner Express, located on South Main in Goodland.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
Are you ready to turn your house into the ultimate hangout? Builders Supply in Colby has everything you need for outdoor living. Deck furniture, cozy fire pits, and top-of-the-line grills. And they're now a Green Mountain Grill authorized dealer. Inside, you'll find a full line of plumbing supplies. Plus, they offer gorgeous Quaker windows and Shiloh cabinetry to upgrade your home both inside and out. Come see them at the Home and Better Living Show or visit Builders Supply at 1965 Thielen in Colby.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Farmers, what do you expect from your crop insurance agent and company? Knowledge, service, peace of mind knowing you have the coverage you need for your operation? This is what you deserve and more. This is what you have with Rain and Hail Insurance and the girls at the insurance agency in Goodland. Now is the time to stop by the office to review and change your coverage before the March 15th deadline. Stop in and see Roxanne, Susan, and Judy at the insurance agency, located at 1020 Main in Goodland, or call 899-5011 for your peace of mind.
Buy one iPhone 16 Pro Max and get one on NextTech Wireless. iPhone 16 Pro Max is powered by the A18 Pro chip and built for Apple Intelligence. Now available in 4 stunning finishes: black titanium, white titanium, natural titanium, and desert titanium. Which iPhone 16 Pro Max color will you choose? Stop by a location near you to take advantage of this amazing deal today. NextTech Wireless, connecting Kansans.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Give me my cane. I'll show you how to play this game.
And Max Gershon.
The Gershon build is short, but calves like this big. Big old calves.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Not this again.
Yes, this again.
Covering it all from the preps.
Costa 1.7 chucks it up for the win. It's an air ball in the Colby Eagles. Victorious in Hugoton.
To the pros.
Mahomes stepping up again, tries to throw. Light caught! Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with the insurance agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
40 to go with Foss taking another 3-point shot. He got it again. He's on fire. Braden Foss unconscious for beyond the arc. He's got 16. High they go, Roar, spinning around and rejected. Stuffed by Guy Tubbs. Jones up ahead past half court. Pushing the pace. Tubbs goes in. Foul and 1.
And the pitch.
Line, base hit, center field. Nunez will come to score. RBI single for Case Sanderson, and it's 5-0 Huskers.
Pokes loose on the deck. KU's got it. 3-on-1. Harris to KJ. On jam. He spikes it home.
Doug, center circle, bounces it off to Gershon. Back to McDaniel. Oh, great pass, and David with an easy flush. How about that pass?
And good Monday morning, everybody. We're back and rolling on the Morning Blitz on this Monday, March the 3rd. Welcome to the month of March. Hard to believe, but we are here. Overcast skies in Goodland, Kansas. Cloudy, a little cool this morning, but expected to burn off and get into temperatures in the upper to mid 60s today. So another warm day, and as Raleigh said, I think he put it very well. Well, get out there today, folks, and get your outdoor chores done today, because tomorrow and Wednesday are not going to be the days to do that. The weather is going to certainly be a little interesting over the next couple of days. That is for sure, and that will certainly that's got a lot of us on watch that cover the local sports in the region. Could be traveling, could be impacted this week, so be aware of all that, as we've got some chances of some snow coming into the listening region here over the next 24 to 72 hours. So be aware of that. And once again, Tuesday, it looks like it's going to kind of all start to get going downhill with bad weather and kind of roll into Wednesday. And then it'll be clear after that, it looks like, but going to deal with a couple of crummy weather days, which I know are Max's favorite type of weather. Love.
Definitely not. Definitely not my favorite. I enjoyed the nice weather. I thought it was going to stay. Silly me. I thought it was going to stay nice forever, but that's not how this works.
I already warned you. You know,
I know.
Weekend, I'm telling you.
I'm not from Florida. I've just been there the last 2 years. I know what it's like.
Getting readjusted to your home state weather here.
Right.
See, it's a wetter snow over there in KC, though. I mean, it's a wetter snow. Over out here, it's a dry powder snow. So
yeah, really. Yeah, you don't get a lot of snowstorms. I guess this year they have been sticking a lot more, but usually it's not. It goes away pretty quick. It doesn't stick. It doesn't last as long as it does here. Here it lasts a long time.
The snow sticks around, you mean, after it snows?
Yeah, it lasts a while.
I don't know. See, I felt like it lasted quite a bit, and I lived in Maryville, but of course that's further north of Kansas City. So I always felt like it came and it. I remember one time in college at Northwest Missouri State in Maryville, Missouri. It was right before Christmas break, and it came up, and we had this massive ice storm. I mean, it was humongous. I still don't know how the campus didn't lose power. My guess is because they had a lot of backup generators. But I mean, there was like every tree in, of course, most campuses have all these trees, and of course. And every single tree was covered in about 1 inch to 2 inch thick of ice. Every single tree limb. It was nuts. It was beautiful. Post, it was beautiful to look at. But I mean, wow, that was unbelievable to see that happen.
I don't know. Maybe they clear the roads off really well in KC. I just don't feel like it's that
the
big.
Jetta can jet around just fine.
Well, when I had because I had a Tacoma when I was in high school, so that thing rode around fine, I guess, but I don't know.
Tacoma.
I don't know.
Yeah, real manly man with that Tacoma. Yeah, looks good.
Right.
Yeah, good deal. Well, anyway, hope everyone's having a good start to their month of March. We got a full show ahead today. We're going to be visiting again with our good friend from Smoky Hills Public Television, Mike Holliday. He was there to cover all the 3-2-1A state wrestling, and we're going to visit with him about state wrestling. Great showing from area wrestlers, as it usually is here from the Northwest Kansas region. We'll get to more on that coming up here at the bottom of the hour. We got plenty of other things to get to today, but we always kick off our Monday show with our weekend winners and losers.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners. Loser? You're a loser.
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
You want to be a winner, be a winner.
Max, if you'd like to go first, you are welcome to do so.
Absolutely. Well, my first winner of the weekend is the Colby Eagles boys basketball team. We already talked about the girls on Friday with their win over Nickerson High School. Now the Eagles, the 7-seeded Colby Eagles boys basketball team defeated Russell, the 10-seed, 70-43 on Friday night. Yep, a dominant win. Really, it was one of the best offensive performances of the year for the team all around. Braden Foss finished with 16, knocking down 4 threes, which I think is the most threes he's knocked down this season. Guy Tubbs with 20 points. Jordan Jones had 23. Grant Stevens with 6. Max Kirstenbrock with 2. Got some other guys in at the end of the game as well. But really just an all-around good performance from the entire game since tip-off. It was good dominant win for the Eagles. And yeah, I mean, that Russell team just didn't have the scoring that they needed to take down Colby. Just a lot. I mean, they were kind of just chucking up threes for most of the game, and they weren't falling. And Colby just played really well, really good basketball all around, good energy, good pace, and yeah, it was definitely an impressive win. I thought that they were going to get the job done, but I was a little worried maybe they might overlook Russell, but they did not. They took it. Just like I said about the Lady Eagles, it was a business game, and they took care of business. And now they'll be on to Goodland for the 5th time this season. We've been talking about it all year, Ross, about how there's a chance they'll probably play 5 times this year, and that is exactly what's going to happen this week.
Yep, that'll happen on Wednesday night inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse. Goodland will host Colby for a chance to go to the sub-state title game. There were some other really good other scores from high school basketball this past weekend. Oakley girls beat Trigo by 30, 57-27. Hoxie girls blast Sterling 77-41. That'll set up a Hoxie-Oakley semifinal matchup inside the Colby Event Center coming up here on Wednesday is when that game will take place. So Hoxie and Oakley at the Event Center on Wednesday for girls 2A. There was plenty of basketball on Saturday. Top seed Quinter, 1A. This is all girls, 1A, D1, and D2. Quinter beat Greeley County 54-24. Lady Bulldogs meet Osborne on Friday for their sub-state title. Rollins County, the 3 seed, beat Decatur Community 57-52. Lady Buffs will meet Central Plains in the sub-state championship game on Friday. Once again, those will all take place. 1A, D1 takes place inside the Colby Event Center. And then for girls 1A Division II, Wallace County with a beating of Otis Bison, 67-52. Wildcats beat Wheatland Grinnell, who beat Golden Plains 56-43 in their sub-state title game. That'll be happening in Dighton, as will Shiloh Pawnee Heights. That was another rout of a game, 75-19. Lady Cougars take on Hodgman County in the sub-state championship game. Once again, that game also in Dighton. A lot of lopsided scores. I mean, you take away the Rollins County Decatur Community girls score of 57-52. All these games are by 30-plus points in the semifinals. And so, you're weeding out the pretenders, and now you have the contenders squaring off here on Friday and Saturday.
And I even said that in the Colby game, it felt more like a 1-16 matchup, really, than it did versus a 7 versus 10 matchup. I mean, those two teams were just kind of on a different level. It felt like. I
told you. I said, the thing that doesn't worry me about it is that this is no offense to Russell or any other team. I just feel like the GWAC, particularly in basketball, night in and night out, is a very difficult league to play in. And so if you can play to your potential, not even your best, if you can just play to your potential in these games against teams that don't play in the GWAC every single night, I think you're going to have a good chance of winning. And that's what happened on Friday with Colby boys. So now you're into the semifinals where, at least in 3A competition, you're going to see a whole lot more, at least on the boys' side, I should say, a whole lot more competitive games. I mean, whether it's Goodland Colby on one semifinal or Scott City Norton on the other. You're going to see I don't know. I still honestly believe that probably Scott City will beat Norton by probably 15 points. So and that's no offense to Norton, but I just think Scott will probably win that, which once again, Scott City really got a great draw. I mean, they really got a fantastic draw out of this for being the 3, because they got, not only did they get an easier game against Kingman in the opening round, as most higher seeds do, then they take on a Norton team who's 15-5, but once again, I just don't know if they've been supremely challenged this year. I mean, they took on Lakin in the 3rd place game of the topside tip-off tournament. Obviously, of course, that was, 17, 18 games ago.
Right.
And they lost pretty handily in that game. So I still think, and then, of course, Scott City, of course, winning the bid to be, or getting selected to be the host, so then they're playing at home. So Scott City boys really got a great draw.
Yeah, that's
how it all went down for them.
Norton lost to Colby. I was trying to find the score, 66-43. And that was, that was the 4th of February.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Scott City just beat Colby a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, yeah, I would expect that to not be close either.
I mean, whoever wins between Goodland and Colby, they're going to see Scott City in the finals. That's
Definitely.
my prediction on the boys' side of things.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. And I predict on the upside bracket, see Lake and Holcomb playing for a chance to go to state. That's my feeling on that.
I don't know much about the Lakin team.
They've got plenty of talent, including a young man who transferred in, I think from France, I think is where he's from, and pretty talented group of kids.
Now that's France, like the country. There's not a secret France, Kansas City that I don't know about,
France.
right?
France, Paris, France, yes,
okay.
Across the pond, France, yes. He's supreme. They're a talented team, and they've got a coach that knows how to win, and that'll be a heck of a sub-state title game. But once again, the thing with Lakin is kind of the same, like, it's kind of the same like Norton to an extent. You know, they're a really good basketball team. But their schedule that they play consistently is maybe not the best. Now, Lakin has beaten some really good teams. I mean, they've beaten Holcomb already once this year. Beat them, I believe it was in Holcomb too. So they have some nice wins under their belt, does Lakin. But on a consistently night in and night out basis, they don't play in as tough a league, I don't think, as the GWAC. That's just my opinion. So there you go. A little bit of a bracket breakdown for you. There are some games tonight. Greeley County is going to host La Crosse. These are all 1A, D1, and D2 boys games. You got Greeley County hosting La Crosse in a 4-5 matchup, and Decatur Community visiting Quinter in a 6-2 game. And then in Division 2, Max knows probably a lot about the Weskin Hutch Central Christian game that's going to be happening inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse tonight. Wallace County goes to Western Plains in the 5-4 game, 7-2. Wheatley Grinnell at Dighton, and Shiloh visiting the 3-seed Hodgman County tonight in semifinals, Class 1A, D1, and D2 boys games in the area. What's your thoughts on the Hutch Central Christian Weskin game?
Well, I'm still getting ready. There's been a lot of talking back and forth with their state, how I'm going to get connected to their signal, and that's been more the focus than actual research itself right now of the teams. But I know from having the Weskin coach on that I'm excited to watch Trey Allen play some basketball tonight, and I'm excited to see Weskin play, and like you've said a couple of times, that you expect that Hutch team to be pretty solid as well. So hopefully,
you can't always look at the record with Hutch Central Christian, because they play a lot of bigger schools. They play a very challenging schedule. At least they have in previous years. I don't know about this year, so that means that'll be a very interesting game, because Weskin's a good basketball team, and I guarantee Hutch Central Christian, despite the record's a good ball club as well. So okay.
Am I going to be able to use your spot tonight, Ross, at the Max Jones?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. I like your spot.
Yeah, you can have my spot.
Awesome.
Yeah, don't ruin my chair, but yeah, you'll be fine.
I'll try not to.
You'll know it's my spot by my chair.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah, good. We got plenty of basketball. This whole week is loaded full of basketball. And every single night, hopefully, if the weather permitting, we'll have games Tuesday, then Wednesday, no games Thursday, then Friday, Saturday. Just tons of games this week. Very busy week of basketball before the state tournament kicks off next week. Of course, my weekend winner is going to go to Hoxie Wrestling. How could it not? They captured their 5th consecutive 3-2-1A boys state wrestling championship. They were once again very dominant as they took home the title there, led by 8 placers and 4 state champions: Edson Moreno, Duncan Bell, Easton Nicholson, and Sam Watkins. They took down Norton to bring home the gold in 3-2-1A boys. So they are no doubt a winner of the weekend. There was a lot of other great winners, though, out of state wrestling this weekend. There were 62 wrestlers that went in from Northwest Kansas in our listening area. 30 of them ended up on the podium on Saturday, and 11 of them earned state championship at the very top spot of the podium. That included Oakley's Carter Creer, who won at 138 pounds, girl teammates Callie Wagner and Atavia Kane. Hoxie's Josie Bell on the girls' side captured a gold. Colby's Morgan Hills and Ryder Dempy Wolf were champions for CHS. And congratulations to Goodland's Destiny Gonzalez. Not only is she the first ever girls state champion in school history, she's now the first ever back-to-back girls state champion history, as she won for Goodland in 140 pounds here this past weekend there in Salina. All those men and women finished in the top spot, winning gold individually from our listening rate. Oakley girls had a really solid showing, as we thought. They ended up coming up in second place in 3-2-1A, just 11.5 points behind Norton, who captured the championship of 3-2-1A girls. And then Colby girls and boys both had solid showings. They both finished top 10 at 4A in Salina. Colby girls ended up placing 5th, and the Eagle boys ended up placing 8th in 4A. So congratulations to all those wrestlers that had a phenomenal season and those who ended up finishing on top. I mean, what a great way to go out for some of those. And we'll visit once again here in about 5 to 10 minutes with Mike Holiday. He'll give us the complete rundown of it all. But there were some interesting upsets that happened. Some unbeaten wrestlers that went down in the title matches. And so they did not end up getting the first place like we thought they might. And so we'll get some more on that coming up with Mike Holiday coming up here at the bottom of the hour. But that's pretty much my only winner of the weekend, to be completely honest with you. So let's move on to loser. Do you have any more winners? Any more winners?
Quick shout out to my favorite NBA team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have won 10 straight once again, had a big comeback against the Celtics, and have the first team to 50 wins, and then just won an overtime thriller against the Blazers yesterday. So they're playing some good basketball. Shout out my favorite NBA player, Donovan Mitchell.
What is their record right now? 50 and what?
It'd be 50 and let me pull it up really quick.
12, 11?
That's what I was going to say, but I don't even, I was going to say 50 and 10. 50 and 10.
What a ridiculous record that is.
Yeah, I mean, they've already clinched what would that be? They've already clinched a spot in the playoffs.
Besides Donovan Mitchell, who is the number 2? Is it Evan Mobley?
Well, Mobley is the two that have changed this team to be like last year they were hanging around the 4 or 5.
Who are the difference makers?
Garland from Vanderbilt. People might remember him in college, and then Evan Mobley, of course. They have just improved so much. And then you have the 6th man of the year, in my opinion, Ty Jerome from Virginia's national championship team. They actually have Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter, both players from that Virginia national championship team in 2019. On the team, and they have been unbelievable. And Ty Jerome is probably the 6th man of the year. So, I mean, it's an all around really, really great basketball team, and they've been fun to watch all year. So shout out the Cavs.
All right, moving on. Weekend losers. What do you got for losers of the weekend?
Well, I'll start off with KU basketball with the loss against Texas Tech. Really, it was a good game for most of the guys. I thought KJ Adams, with one of his most efficient games of his career, was really happy to see him perform that well. I mean, 10 of 12 from the field, 21 points, 13 rebounds, which I believe was a career high for KJ. And then Hunter Dickinson has been continued to play well, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 6 of 6 from the stripe. I thought Ryland played good, 11 points. The problem is Zeke Mayo went 1 for 7, 0 for 5 from 3. And had 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers, 1 field goal made from what's supposed to be your reliable scorer on the court as a guard. He played look, I know, it was unfortunate to see what unfolded after the game. With
that's my loser of the weekend. Kansas basketball fans are my losers of the weekend.
I'm sure, but it was unfortunate to see the messages that were sent his way, and I, condemn all that stuff, and it's terrible, and he doesn't deserve any of that. No one's perfect, and he's been a big help to this KU team that struggled for most of the year. But that performance against Texas Tech, unfortunately, was really, 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 really bad from Zeke Mayo, especially that last possession. DeJuan Harris, your point, you've got to score. You have to have a guard that can score, and he cannot score the basketball. Neither of them could score the basketball, and DeJuan really never has been able to be an efficient scorer, and it's really hurting this team because you've got three guys that are scoring, and you need your guards to have some production, and they just cannot produce points. And it's really impossible to win when you have a good shooting team like Texas Tech going up against a KU offense. And it's going to show in the tournament because, there's so many teams that can shoot the basketball so well, especially you're talking like that 10, 9, 8, 11 range of teams, even 12. And KU just can't defend it, and they can't compete with it. So that's the biggest problem heading into the tournament is KU cannot beat a good shooting team.
As I've talked about before on this show, I believe 3-point shooting is a very, very impactful stat, and defending it is probably even more important.
Yeah.
And the Red Raiders on Saturday outscored Kansas from 3, 45-12.
Yeah.
45-12. So once again, as you proved, Kansas could not stop the 3 and they couldn't shoot the 3. And that's a very bad combo. But credit to them for only losing by 5. Because usually that happens, you're losing by more.
Right. There's such an anomaly because what's the 2 things that basketball teams now in the modern era focus on? 3-point shots and free throws, and they don't make 3-point shots, and they don't get to the line. And when they do get to the line, they don't make their free throws. So there's really like this weird space that they're in where, all right, well then what do you do well offensively? And it's not much. It's feed the guys down low, but they don't have anyone that can, and then they start bringing 2 on Hunter, bringing 2 on KJ or whoever is hot at the time down low, Flory, and then they kick it out, and they have 2 guards that can't shoot. They have 2 guards that aren't consistent enough to make shots. So it's just this overall, like, there's really no answers just because the team is constructed in a way that's not efficient and it is not going to.
It's been constructed on paper. On paper, this team going into the season, this team was considered extremely
obviously because they were the number 1 seed.
Players have not developed or have failed to improve, whatever
Right.
it might be. Or they lost their confidence in the case of Zeke Mayo because he was really pretty darn confident throughout most of the season. So I know it's tough. And honestly, with the comments that were said after the game to Zeke Mayo, I mean, that is absolutely horrific.
Awful.
And the sad part is that when Bill Self has to put out a statement, that's even worse.
Yeah.
And the athletic director, Travis Goff, says, these are not Jayhawks. They're not ours. Driven by gambling and hate. They've never competed a day in their life, is what he said. He's not wrong. This is part of the problem with allowing gambling and things like that, is that kind of stuff can really drive people to say some hurtful things to some kids. And
it happens,
even though they are getting paid. But
and just because Zeke shared these messages, don't think this is happening almost every single sports game.
Mostly.
There is a player that is receiving a DM of that sort of nature. Almost every single sports game nowadays, there is an athlete that after the game, I'm talking like, the big ones that are televised, I should clarify, are getting DMs after the game with stuff like that. And it's just, it's toxic, and but there's nothing you can, what are you going to do to fix it? There's nothing it's tough. It's unfortunate, and you want to see better, but you're not going to.
Yeah, that's a bad deal. So Kansas basketball fans are my losers of the weekend. I mean, it's amazing. And it's, I think, what loss was that at home this season? Number 4?
Yeah.
4th loss at home this year. And I think Frank Mason put out.
Yeah, that's, I was going to say.
Line saying, we don't lose at home. This is completely unacceptable. I mean, guys, basketball is different. The sport of college athletics is way different than what it was. It is way different because you're able to pay players. And get used to Texas Tech being good because they got oil money. And there's going to be plenty of money thrown into those programs. You're going to see these programs pop up and beat you. It's not going to be the same as it was anymore. It's just not. Kansas fans better accept that fact, especially some of the Blue Bloods. Better jump up and accept that fact that it's just not going to be as dominant as it used to be.
Okay, but I don't necessarily think that KU's payroll is higher than Texas Tech's.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yeah.
You do?
I will guarantee that's a fact with the players that they have right now. So that doesn't.
I'm guessing that Kansas probably doesn't have as much money as people think. I understand it's a blue blood program.
I know you've said that.
I just don't think they probably have as much money as people think they do. Now, do I still think they're a talented team this year? Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting experiment for fans like Kansas, for example, and other programs, not just Kansas. Blue blood programs to understand that over the next 5 years, if this continues to pass where money gets handed out to players and through NIL, you're probably going to see some teams pop up and beat you unlike you didn't expect to. And it's going to happen at Allen Fieldhouse. It's going to happen in lots of spots. It just will happen at some point in time. Not saying you're not going to have great years, because you will have great years, but I don't think it's going to be as dominant as just the past years have been. Just saying. All right, we've got to get to a break. I've got another loser of the weekend, but I will skip it for now. We'll get to that maybe in the leftovers. We got to get to timeout. When we come back, we'll talk some state wrestling with Mike Holliday, our wrestling expert. Next joins us here on the Morning Blitz.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Ashley Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Monday, March 3rd. On the overnight last night, March corn lower 2.5 at 4.51. May down 3 cents at 4.66.5. July down 3 cents at 4.72 3/4. September down 1.5 at 4.48 3/4. March beans down 1 3/4 on the overnight at 10.09 3/4. May down 3 3/4 at 10.22. July down 3 3/4 at 10.36 1/4. August beans down 3.5 at 10.34 3/4. May Chicago wheat on the overnights up 1 3/4 at 5.57.5. July up 1.5 at 5.70 3/4. September up 1 3/4 at 5.86 1/4. December soft wheat up 2.5 at 6.07. Kansas City wheat, the May contract higher 2.5 on the overnights at 5.75.5. July up 2 3/4 at 5.88 3/4. September up 3 cents at 6.03.5. December hard wheat up 3 at 6.23 1/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up $95 at 43,984. The S&P up 21 at 5,984. The Nasdaq up 141 at 21,061. Gold higher $35 an ounce this morning at 2,883. Crude oil up 41 cents a barrel this morning at 70.17. If you have any questions about market grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Styles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading.
Only auctions. There's no easier way to find buyers for cattle, horses, sheep, and hay. Sell on your terms today with livestockmarket.com.
It's the Morning Blitz.
We're having a great time, couple of laughs, everything's nice.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 8 Mountain, 8 to 9 Central.
7:37 Mountain, 8:37 Central Time, Monday, March the 3rd, first show of March here of 2023. Once again, overcast to get the day going, but expected temperatures to reach into the upper 60s today in the listening region before some winter weather impacts the listening area here over the next 72 hours or so. All right, let's go to the Hoover Lumber's Hardware Hotline. We're joined by, once again, our good friend, Mike Holliday from Smoky Hills Public TV. Our own wrestling expert joins us now. Good morning, Mike. You sound peppy this morning. I figured you'd be a little bit worn down after a very couple busy of days.
I am. I was at the 321A State Wrestling Tournament. Yeah, surprisingly, I've got a little bit of energy today, but it was a long but fun 2 days at Gross Memorial Coliseum, and it was so good to get state wrestling back in Hayes. I know the community missed that last year when 321A was in Salina, and it was a great tournament. I thought maybe we'd tackle 4A before we get into the 321A. And we'll kind of start with some results from the immediate area. And on the girls' side of things in Class 4A, how about Destiny Gonzalez from Goodland? She's going to go down as one of Goodland's top wrestlers ever, a 3-time finalist and 2-time state champion. You think about the fine line between winning state and being a state runner-up, and Destiny Gonzalez has been on that fine line. She's had 2 hard-fought state championship victories last year over Caden Haig of Ellis, a young lady from Ellis that beat her throughout the year. But Destiny got her in the state championship match at 140 pounds. And then she had an overtime victory over Brooklyn Bernhide of Rock Creek. That was 11-8 as Gonzalez gets the takedown in overtime. I don't think she was favored in that match either. She had 4 losses coming in. Bernhide was 33-1 and the number 1 ranked wrestler. But Gonzalez just shows up in February, and I guess in this case in the first day of March, and she's done that for the last 2 years, and that's just an excellent career for Destiny Gonzalez. Colby girls had some good performances as well. They got a 6th place finish from Adrian Salcido at 100 pounds, 5th place finish from Gallus Steben at 155. And then they had a state champion as well, sophomore Morgan Hill. She finished 4th last year, caps her sophomore season with a 29-2 record. And she beat Haley Potter of Burlington, who finished with a 47-3 record, and the match wasn't even close. It was a 3rd period technical fall. 17-2 was the final, and Morgan Hills wins it to finish again 29-2 on the year. But just a dominating performance in the state championship match for her. Haley McDaniel of Scott City finishing 4th at 110. And Ashlyn Rose was in 3rd place at 155. On the boys' side in Class 4A, if you remember back to last Thursday when I was talking about Traven Conger at 138 pounds from Goodland and how impressed I was by him as he kept moving through the Hayes tournament, began that tournament with a losing record. He took 4th place at state, and I thought that was just an outstanding performance from the sophomore, finishes the sophomore campaign 30-20, and he had Alex Rodriguez, a league opponent, in there for 3rd place. Rodriguez beat him 9-2, but the future is bright for Conger. Nobody else from Goodland Place. They qualified 3 this year. It was just a much better performance on the boys' side throughout the whole season than it was a year ago. As far as Colby goes, Ryder Dimpy Wolf at 113 pounds captures his 2nd straight state championship at that weight class. He had an 8-6 decision over Trenton Richwine of Rose Hill. Dimpy Wolf finishes 41-1. He's only a junior, so he'll have a chance to be a 3-timer next year. Dawson DeGood had a great performance at 165 for the Colby boys. He had a league opponent in there for 3rd place, but DeGood beat him. That's Blaze Gossman of Scott City, and that was a 14-5 decision. Also, Trenton Frank of Scott City finishing 5th at 126. And team-wise, Colby finished 8th on the boys' side, and Scott City finished in 10th place. Colby finished 6th as a team on the girls' side. So some really good performances from our local 4A schools.
Mike, I was kind of curious, and you can get into this more with 321A, but I'm always like one of the couple of stories that I saw and happened more at 321A was, these unbeaten wrestlers going in and then losing for the first time at state, some of them losing in the championship match to possibly end what was an unbeaten state championship run. And that actually happened in 321A this year.
One of the matches that was just, I think it kind of blew everybody away. Ian Gincola of Hoxie is an outstanding wrestler, a 2-time state champion, back in the state championship this year at 120, the same weight that he won it at last year. I think the stars were kind of aligning for him to win a 3rd championship, but he had a freshman from Southeast of Saline in Roman Tuttle, and he put on a takedown clinic. It was a major decision win for Roman Tuttle. Now, I think Gincola, and he will never offer up any excuses, but he had missed a little time leading up to regionals with a knee injury. I think the knee did bother him a little bit in that championship match, but it was a great performance for Roman Tuttle. But we saw a lot of upsets in 321A just on the girls and boys side. 145 pounds, Jaden Nye of Russell was an undefeated state champion last year, just 1 loss this year on the season, and she lost in the state championship match by fall to her opponent from Douglas, and that was a big surprise. I can't recall any bigger upsets at state than that one. Nye, you could have just penciled her in all the way for her 2nd straight state championship, but she was upset in the finals, and that's what wrestling is. Sometimes in basketball, if a team gets up by 20 or 25 points, the game is over, regardless of what what period that you're in or what quarter that you're in. But in wrestling, there's always a chance for a pin, regardless of what the score is. And that's what makes the sport just super, super exciting. 3-2-1A on the girls' side. We'll start there. St. Francis had a fifth-place finish at 125 in Cheyenne Labarge. So a good tournament for her. Josie Bell of Hoxie was the 125-pound state champ. And Mariah Barnett of Hoxie finished in fifth as a senior at 120. Just an improved season for her. For Josie Bell, though, at 125, it was a bit of a surprise that she won the state championship. She had a 43-second pin in the quarterfinals over Maggie Holly of Atwood, who had beaten her throughout the season. And the top 6 girls in that 125-pound weight class, if they wrestled again this weekend, you probably have a completely different finish as far as the top 6 is concerned. But you got to hand it to Josie Bell as she picked up a last-second win over Isabella Garrity of Norton in the state championship match. Oakley had 2 runners-up in Kylie Hodges at 120. She lost to Holly Thatcher of Oskaloosa, who captured her 4th straight championship, and then Abigail Jackson at 135. They had 2 champions, though, and Callie Wagner at 155 and Octavia Kane at 170. So Kane, after being a 2-time state runner-up, she finally is able to call herself a state champion. And then, unfortunately for Oakley, Cadence Koch took 6th at 110, but she was injured in her semifinal match. She was leading that match 7-0. Had a shoulder or elbow injury and couldn't compete. She forfeits matches on the backside and took 6th. Had she won that semifinal match, I think there would have been a good chance that she would have gone on to win the state championship, as the girl that she was leading in the semifinals had a quick pin in the finals, and Oakley would have captured the state championship. But as it stood, Norton won it on the girls' side with 151.5 points. Oakley with 140, but they were just 11.5 points behind Norton. On the boys' side from the area, 138-pound state champion. We mentioned Octavia Kane. On the girls' side, well, Carter Career has been so close to a state champion, 138-pounder from Oakley, and he wins it this year with a 7-0 victory over another area wrestler, Shane Todd of St. Francis, who had a great career. Todd finishes as a 2-time state runner-up, but Carter Career got him again 7-0. Also from St. Francis, a good tournament for Dayton Fromholtz. He finished 5th at 150 pounds. And Hoxie had state championships from Edson Moreno at 150, Duncan Bell at 165, Easton Nicholson at 170, and Sam Watkins at 190. They had runner-up finishes from Ian Gincola at 120 and Cash Schultz at 126. Braden Wilson finished 4th at 113. Chase Meyer 3rd at 132. So when the dust settled there, and the state tournament was won pretty early in for Hoxie, but they finished with 192 team points to 146 for Norton. Phillipsburg in 3rd at 106. And for Hoxie, that's their 5th straight state championship. All 3 teams in the top 3 there on the boys' side from the Mid-Continent League, and the top 2 teams on the girls' side. Well, the top 3 teams, because Russell took 3rd, they were from the Mid-Continent League as well. So even on the girls' side, Western Kansas flexing their muscles yet again, and in particular Northwest Kansas in state wrestling on both the girls' and boys' side.
We're visiting with Mike Holliday of Smoky Hills Public TV. He was there to cover 3-2-1A state wrestling this past weekend. I have a question about the girls' side, Mike. You know, this is, I don't know, they've been, of course, girls have been wrestling for a while, but, you know, on their own division and having their own separate tournament. I'm curious if you have seen the craftsmanship of the girls improve, of just their wrestling technique and stuff like that, how much it's improved just over the last couple of years since they've kind of been doing their own thing and not wrestling against the guys.
Oh my gosh, has it not only has the sport grown, but it has greatly improved. It is improving so much that these wrestlers have completely changed and become improved from the beginning of this season to the end of the season. They're just, the girls are just starting to figure it out. A lot of these girls just don't have the federation, the little kids experience that the boys do. So they're kind of having to figure it out. What we're going to see in the next few years is from a technical standpoint, this is going to be pretty comparable to the girls. There will just continue to be interest gained in wrestling. Little girls will start doing it more than they ever have, so that's going to take off. Junior high as well, but it is so completely different than it was even last year. But boy, it was pretty rough to watch as recently as 3 years ago. But it's completely different now. It is just it's so much better to watch, and these girls are putting in the time, certainly all year long.
Mike, I mean, there's a lot of good wrestlers, of course, that competed this past weekend, but we can expect to see a lot of these same ones coming back because there's still some good underclassmen that are going to be coming up here for the 2026, believe it or not, state wrestling tournament in the future.
Yeah, somebody brought that up. Like the next state tournament will be in 2026, and I had to kind of step away and think about that a little bit. But yeah, that's right. Next year will be 2026, and you're right. Oakley finished as state runners-up. On the girls' side, they lose 2 seniors. That's it. The rest of the girls they bring back. Norton won the state championship. They only had 1 senior. She reached the finals, and that'll be a loss, but they'll bring everybody else back. So many underclassmen. We were talking throughout the weekend about how young the state tournament was on the boys' side, too. A lot of really good freshmen in sort of those upper to middle weights, like 165 and 175, that will be coming back next year. So I think 3-2-1A wrestling on both the girls and boys' side will be very, very competitive in the next few years. Some good young kids out there.
Mike, we really appreciate taking some time out of your Monday to give us a recap, my friend. Be well. We'll catch up soon, okay?
Hey, that sounds great, and congratulations to all of the area wrestlers from 3-2-1A and 4A that placed. It is I'm a wrestling guy. I just hats off to everybody who put in the time. It's a sport that to be good at, you got to be really dedicated, and our local athletes are. So I'm proud of all of them.
Thanks, Mike. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Great stuff there from Mike Holliday here on the Morning Blitz. Robert chiming in on Facebook. He talked about how you're talking about the girls' technique and how much Bruce said Colby's Morgan Hill's takedown technique was impressive in capitalized letters. So, yes, there is. I think that's kind of the interesting thing to follow along a little bit here as we roll along is how much the girls have improved over the last just handful of years. I mean, boys have been doing this for, decades on end. Now the girls are getting into it. And I'm telling you what, and usually girls are very, very good about technique and things you see it in basketball. They're very, very good about the technique. And so can you imagine them at wrestling? They're going to be very, very good at it. So, all right. Thanks again to Mike Holiday. We'll take a quick break, come back, wrap the show with our leftover segment next. This is the Morning Blitz on a Monday.
Masters! Looking for big savings on a powerful new ride? Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas has you covered. Right now, drive home a 2025 Silverado 2500 with just 3.9% financing for 60 months. Need space and style? Get $1,000 customer loyalty cash on a 2024 Chevy Suburban. Or grab a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 Pro Diesel. Originally just over $67,000, now just over $56,000 with a huge hail discount. Swing by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Farmers, what do you expect from your crop insurance agent and company? Knowledge, service, peace of mind knowing you have the coverage you need for your operation? This is what you deserve and more. This is what you have with Rain and Hail Insurance and the girls at the insurance agency in Goodland. Now is the time to stop by the office to review and change your coverage before the March 15th deadline. Stop in and see Roxanne, Susan, and Judy at the insurance agency, located at 1020 Main in Goodland, or call 899-5011 for your peace of mind.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Miss the weekend action?
Yes, you caught me.
No worries. We've got all the highlights and lowlights covered.
Hey, okay, well, catch me up.
This is the Morning Blitz with Russ Volkmer.
You know what's exciting about this time of year, Max? We're less than a week away from this. You know what it is?
What is it? March
Daylight
Madness?
savings time is coming back.
That's what's exciting about March?
Yes, we get to go back to having longer days in the evenings. I guarantee there's a lot of people out there that would be on my side on that.
No, you're right. You're right.
Hold on. I'm totally stoked for March Madness. I mean, who isn't if you're a sports person? I mean, that Thursday, Friday is one of the best sports days of the entire planet. So
it is. It really is.
But, I mean, just an underrated one once again is daylight savings time returns on March the 9th. So I kind of look forward.
And we've got Royals baseball this
Royals
month as well.
baseball. By the way, D-backs beat the Royals this weekend.
They did.
As I reminded.
That's true.
Better
4-8 team.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So anyway, once again, it doesn't matter. It's all spring training. It does not matter.
That means, according to your logic, that means you're going to.
That's right. We're going to be worse than the Royals.
Win,
exactly
not
right.
Win a game this right.
But the best part is that they lost to the Rangers. So if we finish around 500, I'll be fine with that.
Okay.
I'll be okay. You just can't finish with like whatever that 20-2 record in spring training. It's
That's what the Rockies are doing right now.
You don't want that. That usually means it's not going to be good for the regular season. Quick things to hit to here in the leftovers real fast. Quickly, but college basketball, Colby Community College women, a win over Fort Hays Tech Northwest Saturday, 70-40. Colby ends their regular season at 15-15, 10-14 in the Jayhawk heading into the postseason. Tech shooting just 24% from the field. That dropped them to 1-25 this season. The Colby men, they had 4 different Trojans scoring double figures. They put an end to the Tech Tigers' 5-game winning streak, 81-69 the final game where Fort Hays Tech Northwest led by 6 at half, but outscored by 18 in the second half, dropped them to 13-15. Still been a great season, first year for Brad Shaw. Trojans sitting at 17-13, been a great year for Coach Jared Stanford and his team. They're 12-12 in conference. They're in the upper half of the conference standings as they finish up the regular season away. How the bracket's going to unfold for the Jayhawk Conference Tournament. Fort Hays Tech Northwest will wrap up its regular season here on Wednesday. They got one more game left at Independence, which will be a challenge. Indy's had a really good year this year. We talked about Kansas losing to Texas Tech on Saturday. Kansas State on Sunday ended their 4-game skid. They beat Colorado 65-56 in Manhattan. David Gasson, 21 points, 8 boards. They did not have, once again, no Coleman Hawkins, but the Wildcats never trailed, held a double-digit lead for most of the second half. Yeah, and then Nebraska basketball, really tough weekend for your boy. Really tough weekend. Nebraska sports, it was not good. Nebraska basketball loses to Minnesota in a game they really, really needed to have if they were going to try and keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive, and they lose in the last weaning seconds on a 3-ball, because of course they do, to Minnesota, which really stings the NCAA tournament chances. There's still a shot they could get in, but it's looking longer and longer now. And then Nebraska baseball goes 1-2 down in Frisco, Texas, including a loss to Kansas State. Yes, listener Andy texted me, said, how about those Batcats? Yes, I know. Kansas State beat Nebraska 9-6 Sunday. I saw it. So Nebraska actually led LSU by 5-0. Number 2 LSU, but ended up losing that game. So, oh well, it was just a tough weekend for your boy, but that's okay. We'll be all right. Moving on. Speaking of baseball, Colby Community College softball 2-2 on the weekend, sweeping North Platte on Friday, then dropped 2 games to Barton, 6-5 and 6-1. Trojans 9-7 overall, but 0-4 to start Jayhawk play. They're scheduled to host Lamar for a doubleheader today. They will get that game, and I would assume weather will clear up and be nice today. Fort Hays Tech Northwest lost both their Jayhawk Conference openers at home. Lopsided games in 5 innings. They lost those at home to Hutchinson. Tech is 0-6 to begin their season. And Colby Community College baseball, in front of the program, Ryan Carter, their team split a weekend series with Northeastern. Trojans are 5-7 on the season. Anything else before we get to the walk-off, Max? Got anything else?
Well, tonight we got some college basketball, and
That's right. KU Houston
versus Houston.
You'll be lucky to be working.
Houston 9.5. Well, thank God, because I don't really. I have a good feeling that I'm not going to be wanting to watch this basketball game. 9.5-point favorites for Houston. When was the last time KU have they ever won at Houston? It feels like they never win there.
I'm sure they have at some point.
Houston's kind of a newer Big 12 team. You know what I'm saying?
I'm guessing I don't think they've probably won there since Houston's joined the Big 12.
It feels like they have. I could be wrong.
They probably have.
I don't think this game's going to be close. I think they're going to run them out the building. KU. They're going to run them back to Lawrence.
Not looking great for Kansas at this point in time. Still, though, I think once again they're going to get in the tournament. I think they're going to be a real deadly team.
Oh, they'll be. Yeah, they're in the tournament. There's no doubt they're in the tournament. But
wish I could say that about my team.
Well, they've won enough games. They had a great start. If they had a K-State level start, then we're probably having a different conversation. But they didn't have a K-State level start, and they actually beat some really good teams at the beginning of the year. I don't know how it's the same team that I watched beat Duke on a neutral site, but it is. So, Duke would probably beat KU by 50 right now.
Over the season, whether it's
they sure do.
Bad.
And KU's Exhibit A.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Gray? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
A little bit of news this morning that maybe Aaron Rodgers won't be leaving New York after all. He'll just go to the other locker room with the Giants.
That's a terrible, terrible decision
my Lord.
for the Giants if they do that. Why would they do that?
They make terrible decisions all the time. They signed Daniel Jones to a long-term deal. They let Saquon walk. Why not just make it the trifecta and bring in Aaron Rodgers?
Him and Malik Neighbors won't be a bad duo, but it's just such a dumb to just draft someone. I mean, maybe they still will, and they'll bench him.
Devontae Adams will be there too because he'll follow him,
right? And Alan Lazard will come.
Alan Lazard comes.
Bakhtiari will come back, and they'll have the Packers in New York for the second time. What a disaster he is! It's just. When will he give it up?
Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Good luck to all the area basketball teams in action tonight. Once again, a full slate of boys, 1A, D1, and D2 games. Greeley County Lacrosse, Decatur Community Quinter, Wallace County Western Plains, Wheatland Grinnell Dighton, and Shiloh Hodgman County. And, of course, Weskin here at the Max Jones Fieldhouse taking on Hutchins Christian, which Max will be there. You can say hello. He'll be in my seat.
Yes, that's true.
Just come by and say hello.
Come by and say hello. I don't bite.
All right. For Max, I'm Ross. Have a great Monday, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday. It's been Blitz.